training under the Chartered Institute, and multiple institutions will have similar avenues of training, and I'll move through the specific levels to go through. And what the Chartered Institute offers is, for example, starter training. So there are different levels of training, but there's a certain level of training that you get to that allows you to practice. Now, this level of training, which I think I'll more or less just delve right now, but I just want to give you the fact that there are levels. And I'm sure as I was being introduced, the word fellow is being thrown around like free money. And what that means is, for example, there are 3 levels. There's an associate level, there's a member level, there's a fellow level, and there's a chartered level. In all of these 3 levels of practice. So these are just training labels, because once you become a member, you are allowed to practice. Once you're an associate member, which is a starting point, you're part of the institution, but you are still not allowed to practice. You still have to undergo more training, because it's like introduction to ADR, but within the institution. So there is associate member. So this is entry level. And if you have almost all of you here are eligible to start at associate level. However, I've always told this to, and this is now where the practical bit comes in. I've always told this to those who have had a taste of legal experience. And I know we all have had that, being law students. And what that means is you are already ahead in terms of training on ADR, because one, the introductory session is quite literally what you did in your unit. I don't even know what your course outline looks like, but I am certain you've covered it. Because it's supposed to, ADR is not a lawyer's affair. However, we've saturated the market. And honestly, the fewer lawyers, the better. If anything, I should walk out and say, guys, it's good. The Institute, of course, offers these trainings at this various level. And once you get to member level, that's when you are allowed to practice. Now, under the Kenyan branch, which is, as I mentioned, it's one of the semi-autonomous branches of the Chartered Institute. There's a mandatory mentorship period. So what happens is you are supposed to align yourselves with those in practice. And fortunately, you have 2 of us over here. And what align means is simply reach out to them and say, oh, I hear you're doing arbitrations. I want to sit in one of them. In ADR is, or rather, I'm not the practitioners. It's not you, it's not me, it's not Isaac, it's not anyone in this room, because we want to join as practitioners. The market is the parties, the people who want to go to ADR because of the inefficiencies that already exist in litigation practice. And in basically, this is not a charity. Well, that the institute is. But then doing work or being employed or you trying to pursue a profession is not a charity, because there are sunk costs. These courses will cost money and you want to make a return. And arbitration is a business. It's access to justice, but it's a business. Unlike the judiciary, where you will be, the judge has already, he doesn't need to worry about his salary because it's already facilitated by, the judiciary itself. Parties have a certain level of leverage in arbitration. That's why they're the market, because they treat ADR like an investment, in the sense that they choose to opt to take an ADR route because the opportunity cost will be more daunting. If they choose litigation, at the very least, the advocate will tell them, come back after 3 years. And even after those 3 years, you may find a dozen injunctions and your matter won't even have substantively progressed. And the avenue to appeal over and over again. So is, as I've been saying, quite popular, because one of the things it offers is certainty. Second, there's a whole piece of legislation around it. Third, internationally respected and recognized and fleshed out by international laws. Now, because of this, and I mentioned the market is not you. Because of this, the market will be gravitated towards arbitration because one, it does not suffer the limitation of being local. What does that mean? Courts are always subject to the jurisdiction that they're in. That's why it's a High Court of Kenya. It's not the High Court of anywhere else, because it's literally limited to this jurisdiction. Now, from an international perspective, even you as an investor, you would not want to take, for example, or get a decision out of a locality because you bring in the question of its enforceability in other jurisdictions. One of the things that the YMG has done is it has offered student membership, which is free. The link will be provided. And I would advise anyone who is starting off in the university studies to become a student member. Because in addition to what you're being taught in ADR, it gives you a purview into the market. And the market is not practice. Now that's what I'm going to, that's the main. One of the opportunities I've mentioned that we offer is student membership. This is a free platform that allows you to not only have access to ADR materials, it also allows you to network. And perhaps this is the most important takeaway from, that's for me, but I hope it is for you as well. Networking in the field of ADR is critical. It's do or die, because you can complain that you do not have gray hair and you will not get something out of it. But if you do not put yourself on the map in the first place, you're not going to get anything at all. So the idea of marketing and putting yourself out there and networking, selling yourself, because that's what you're going to do in litigation practice. Fortunately for most of you, and fortunately for litigation practice as the way it's structured, you will be absorbed in an institution that has done the marketing for you. So a period of time, unless you decide to hit the ground running and open your firm and ground trot, do the work, get the matters. But the market has given you an easy way out, either through pupillage or either through your first year as an associate, to not really care or not really be involved in that marketing aspect because there's a brand doing it for you.